So good morning, welcome to Bike World, welcome to the first road ride of Aprilia's new RS457. Now this video is going to be a little bit different because we did have the opportunity to ride this bike on track, but instead we thought we'd ride it on the road. So Aprilia have very kindly brought me a bike down here to Riccione for me to have a play on for the day. But that does mean I'm kind of on my own with my own cameras, having some fun on the new A2 compliant bike to see what it's like in the real world on the road rather than trying to thrash it around a racetrack. So let me give you a look round of the bike. That's a good start. So it's A2 compliant, £6,500 in the UK, 47 horsepower from a parallel twin, 175 kilograms curb weight. So it's really on the cusp of what can be legal for an A2 licensed bike. First of all, the looks. I mean, that is a good looking bike. I love how that Aprilia just kind of goes there on the little bodywork. I mean, that does look really classy. We've got upside down forks, preload adjustment on the forks, preload adjustment on the shock. It's not based on the 660 because the 660 is half an RSV4. It's a separate engine entirely. Everything is bespoke to this bike. Single brake disc on the front. We've got the kind of entry-level Brembo stuff. We've got ABS, we've got traction control, and we've got 3 rider modes. Switch gear and clocks, if you're familiar with Aprilia. Let me give you a rundown of that. So 5-inch full colour TFT clocks. We have mode button on the right hand side. So there's your eco. At the moment this is your traction. Switch gear on the left, very simple, very straightforward, very easy to use. We've got the optional quick shifter on this model, which works both up and down. And that is a sneaky kind of walk round look of the RS457. So we are on a beautiful road that Aprilia have managed to close for us to stretch the legs a little bit on the 457. Little parallel twin, sports mode, no traction for obvious reasons. If I have to explain that to you, then you probably got the wrong video. How does that sound? Sounds good, doesn't it? Just short shifting, not thrashing it. So we've got ABS front and rear. We could turn it into like Supermoto ABS. Oh, look at that. Oh, cyclists playing on my closed road. So we just kind of reached the halfway stage. Just stopped off at this beautiful kind of harbour where I wish I could afford one of those yachts. I'm really impressed by the bike so far. I think what surprised me the most is the refinedness, the power and the torque and the delivery. And by that what I mean is it feels like an underpowered 660. It doesn't feel like a buzzy, got to thrash it to the red line A2 bike. It feels more torquey and much more drive and much more usability than I thought it would have. The switch gear and everything is straightforward and simple to use. You can turn the traction control off on the move, which personally I really like. But the refinedness and the delivery and the drivability of the engine and the sound, that 270 degree crank sounds lovely. It's got a real kind of brop to it. And you don't have to thrash it and bounce it off the rev limiter everywhere you go. It's usable and drivable. And it's pretty roomy and comfy. But yeah, let's get more of the same. Let's go try some different roads and I'll give you a verdict at the end of the test. So we are in the middle of nowhere and I'm just going to show you a little ace card with a traction off that this Aprilia does very well. Now remember, this is A2 compliant. Second gear. How easy is that? Little blip of the clutch and it just pops up in second. Not first, not hammering it, it's just a little roar. It's just a little pop-up. It's so easy. I reckon with a bit of practice it'd maybe even do it in third. So when the roads have been bigger, lift it second gear, a little brop, into third, into fourth. That is a surprise. Right, let me go park over here. That's it from our exclusive ride on Aprilia's new 457. Really surprised me because I'd seen all the press packs and I'd spoken to a few journalist mates who said it was phenomenal on track. So I was expecting it to be some kind of like little race bike that you had to rev to bits and put your elbow on the deck on every apex. But it's kind of not. It's kind of a really usable, friendly, easy to ride bike with way more torque and drivability than I anticipated. And the riding position is actually comfortable. This isn't a tiny little pocket rocket. You remember those little 400s that we used to have in the 90s that were agony to ride? The bars are quite high, the pegs are quite low. I can comfortably touch the floor and it's very light and easy to ride, but it's also quite roomy and quite comfortable, and the fueling's lovely. And you can switch between the roads relatively easily. It's simple to go between the Sport, the Eco and the Rain. There's not a massive jump in power between those because you've only got 47 horsepower peak, so there's obviously not going to be a huge jump. So we've got a 270-degree crank, parallel twin, revs to 10,500, and we're just in eco mode at the moment. We've got traction on 3. We can turn that up and down on the move. There you go, eco 2, eco 1, sorry, traction 1, traction 2, traction 3. So we've got 3 levels of traction. It's not restricted in any way like some bikes are when they come to electronics. In terms of handling, well, it's Aprilia, so what was you expecting? It's going to go around corners. You've only got preload adjustment on the front and preload adjustment on the rear, but if you're going to change the suspension, you're probably going to do that because you weigh a little bit more than me or you're carrying a pillion. But otherwise, just leave it stock. The tyres were going to be the huge question mark, and I was surprised to see it not shod in Pirellis. And it's a little bit difficult because when you ride a bike that's got Bridgestones or Metzlers or any other make, you already have an idea of what those tyres are going to perform like because you've ridden on them before and you've got history with that manufacturer or that make. With these I didn't have, so I was a little bit nervous at first, but the more I rode the bike, the more I got into it, they're fine. If I'd have been in race levers, this would have been knee down on roads that I don't know, no problem. If I was going to go on a racetrack, then obviously I'd change the tyres. But I'd do that with the bikes in the similar competition, in similar category. If I was going to take the bike on track, I'd change the tyres. Like if I was going to go off-road, I'd put knobblies. It's just a question of what you want from the tyres. Obviously the conditions here in Italy are pretty perfect. We've got dry, 20 degrees, no diesel, no cowpats and no cobbles. How nice is that? In the UK, in the wet, that might be slightly different, but we have got traction control should they break a little bit or get a little bit loose. We've also got ABS that you can have on the front and switch off the rear. I love that quick shifter. It's an optional extra, but I think you need it. Oh, this is just great, isn't it? Struck a chord with me, this bike. It's really impressed me. It's impressed me in ways that I didn't think it would. I knew it was going to handle because it's got Aprilia on the badge. I knew the electronics were going to be good, again, because it's got Aprilia on the badge. I knew the suspension and I knew it was going to look good, but I didn't think it would have that drivability, usability and all-round versatility that other bikes in this category do have. You almost have 2 bites of the cake. You've got the race performance on track, the elbow down dragging ability to impress your mates, and you've also got this, well, use it as an everyday bike. You could commute in it, use it all year round, and it's not breaking the bank balance either. It's £6,500 in the UK. It's right in there with the competition. If you rode this bike without knowing the price, you would expect it to be more than a competition, which it isn't. And that'll be the big question mark. How will it go against the R3, the Kawasaki, the KTM? There's a lot of bikes in this category, even Honda's CB500R. All appealing to a slightly different market in different ways. In terms of sportiness and power and performance, I think this is at the top. It's hard to say without the other bikes being here, but with 47 horsepower and right on the cusp of what is available for an A2 bike in terms of power to weight ratio, then I think this is going to be the leader. Is it going to be the leader in handling? Probably think so. Is it going to be the leader in comfort and usability? I don't know. Honda's pretty comfortable, that's pretty usable. But as an all-round package, it seems to have hit the mark on track, and it seems to have hit the mark in usability, and it seems to hit the mark in appeal and looks and versatility. It's hit the mark in many ways. Can't wait to test it against the competition. Can't wait to put it with me and Chris here at Bike World. We'll get it at the drag strip, we'll maybe get it to a track. What great fun. What a brilliant bike this is. But it's not just a brilliant A2 bike, and this is the important bit, it's a brilliant bike. I've been doing this job for 26, 27 years and I just enjoyed riding an A2 performance bike, which says a lot about the bike when it's only got 47 horsepower and I've still enjoyed it at the end of the day. It really is an impressive package, this. It doesn't feel like an A2 bike. I think that's the best compliment I can give it. It feels like maybe a slow 660, I guess is a nice terminology to put it in. If you've got any questions, fire them down below. Thanks for watching. I'll try and get back to you. We can go into more detail in spec if you wish. Thanks for watching our little video diary, and I'll see you on the next one. We could have ridden this bike on a racetrack, but we decided not to. Instead, we've opted to ride it on the road, which is a little bit different. Oh, thanks for the police. Only in Italy can you obey the speed limit, worry about the speed limit, and then get passed by a policeman. I thought I'd take it steady. Oh, there's a policeman behind it. Nah, I'll pass you, and then I'll drive really closely to the guy in front. I do love Italy. There is so much I love about Italy. Their food, their culture, their way of living, and the police don't give two shits.